Well, what's going on, gang? Thank you for joining me here at a Therapeutic Edge. I hope you're having a great day. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you here on a regular basis. This is the Giantmouse ACE Corta. And I like this thing, even though it's a little small for me. As you can see, my finger drops off the end back here, but it's still, because of the way they shape this handle, really comfortable. And the blade, which is M390, is both really pokey and very slicey because of how it just comes all the way down. It's a nice tall blade, so it drops down to a very nice edge. I like the Giantmouse aesthetic. I always have. This is no exception. It's got a really nice brass backspacer, which is very cool. It's got a wire clip, which I know some of you don't love, but my understanding is, much like most of these, this is the same pattern back here as the Spyderco wire clips, which means you can replace this with any of the available like titanium aftermarket clips that fit Spyderco's. So just a thought if you're interested. The Corta is a straightforward user in micarta and steel liners, M390. It's just a great little knife. Now these things run in, what do they run? About 195 bucks, which for Riot made M390 and micarta, it's not bad. Riot is by far one of the best OEMs running, and it shows in their work. Now this is the green micarta. They also make a black micarta. Yep, they make a black micarta. So you have a couple of choices, and these are available on the website right now. I will post a link in the description. This one belongs to Women Carry Knives. She was nice enough to loan it to me for review, so if you haven't checked out her channel, please do. I'll put a link in the description as well. You can go over there and follow along with her knife journey, which is very cool. It's a good knife. Like I said, it's a little small. Now the Ace Grand is probably my favorite knife that they've ever made in the Ace line. It's a full-size knife. This shares a lot of its features, but in a more compact size. The action is very good, right? It's not drop shutty, but it is smooth. I do like where they put this little bit of jimping because it's right where my thumb lands if I'm doing cuts this way. And you can put your finger there if you're doing draw cuts, although I move a little farther forward, but it is there. It's a nice thought. The spine of the blade is chamfered and knocked down, so it's not hard on the fingers in any way. The flipper tab is fairly low key, which is very nice. And of course it is chamfered and it's got just a little bit of jimping on it, and it's got a really nice snap. It does. The backspacer, as I said, is brass and it looks really cool. It will patina the longer you own this knife. The micarta is milled. You can see that it's got like milling patterns in it to give it a little bit of shape and a little bit of texture. And so, like I said, it's very positive in the grip, right? You definitely know you've got a good, when you hang onto this thing, you feel like it's not going to go anywhere, which is a nice touch. I mentioned it is very pokey. So if you're going to give something a prod, this is a really good tool for that. The folks at Giantmouse definitely have their own thing going on. And I've liked a ton of their stuff. Well, okay, let's get the specs out of the way. You get just shy, so 2.9 inches of cutting on what looks like just at 3 inches of M390. The grip area from behind that flipper, which should be right about there, is a little over 3 1/4, which is why my finger hangs off the end. Now, because of the swell, I still get a really good grip, but it is shorter than my hand by a noticeable margin. The overall knife from end to end comes in at 7 1/4, just about. Closed length, 4 1/4. Now the pocket profile is pretty good. Because of the flipper, we got to swing it a little bit. We're looking at 1 1/4 of your pocket. And again, this edge is knocked down very nicely. A little bit of an edge right there, but right along here it's very smooth. So if you're sharing this with something else in your pocket, well, it will bang on it, with all due regards to Nick Shabazz. It is a pocket pecker, but it's not sharp. So you're not going to tear up stuff in your pocket with this, which is a really nice feature. It's got a little bit of jimping right here as well, which I think is designed to make you feel like your finger's not going to come forward in a push cut, which is a really nice touch. Branding is not too bad. It's got the Ace and then M390 right there, and this side is completely naked, which is a really nice feature, right? pivot is very straightforward. I don't know if this is a D-shaped pivot or if it is locked in because there are screws on both sides. So this may be a round pivot, I'm not sure. It is on bearings and you can see them inside there, just a little. It's well centered. Now this has been through a couple of hands, I think. I don't know exactly where this came from, now that I think about it. We're locked up at about 25%. It has a ceramic detent ball on the inside. There is jimping on the inside. Hang on. You can hear that. There's jimping on the inside of the liner lock, so it grabs your thumb really nicely. Right? It's just a really nice EDC piece. Of course, the folks at Giantmouse tend to do that, and when it's made by Riot, you know it is going to be solid. Let's go ahead and get some size comparisons. We'll line it up on this line, just for the sake of giggles. Here it is against the knife, which I think is probably similar in size. Here it is against the Para 3, and yep, these knives are very similar in dimension, right? Handle shape, not too different. Really different cutting profile, really different blade shape, but if you like the Para 3 as an EDC tool, then the Corta is going to be right up your alley. What did I do with my... Here's the PM2. Just for giggles, you can see, right? Corta is not a big knife. It has a lot of cutting area, but it's still not a big knife. Here it is against a full-size Griptilian. Right. And of course, bug out or Deca? Bug out today. There it is against the bug out. Now the bug out is longer than the Corta, which tells you how that the Corta is a compact knife, for sure. You get about the same amount of cutting on the Corta as you do on the bug out. Of course, the Corta is going to weigh considerably more, but it is M390, right? You can get a bug out with M390 and S90V and a bunch of other choices, but then they will cost more than the Corta, which again comes in at $195. So it's a lot of knife for under 200 bucks. I like it. I do. I like it. I'm not a big green micarta guy, but I know a lot of people are, so I think this knife is going to land really well. And the green goes really well with that backspacer. Right, that's very cool. It's got a little bit of jimping on the backspacer back here, which is entirely aesthetic. It does not, and you can get to it, but it really doesn't serve any other purpose besides looking cool. And I agree with them. This would have been really boring without it. So, nice job. Pocket clip is deep carry. And because it's wire clip and because it's on micarta, it slips in and out of stuff very easily, right? And you can see you got just a little tiny bit of knife sticking out. Got enough ramp. It's got a lanyard spot right there if you're into that sort of thing, as you can see. What I love about the way they did this is there's a spot for a lanyard that does not interfere with the pocket clip. That's good thinking, and I very much wish other companies would do that as well. I'm talking to you, Spyderco. All of my Spydercos have this plug in them because I don't lanyard and I always carry deep carry, so my deep carry clips always stick up. Well, not on this one, but generally speaking, they tend to interfere with where that is. So companies like Benchmade had it figured out a long time ago, and you can see very similar location for that hole. Just get it up, get it out of the way so that you can have a lanyard if you want one, but it doesn't interfere with the blade, it doesn't interfere with the pocket clip. Let's weigh it. I think that brass backspacer is probably going to add some weight, but we'll find out together. 3.7 ounces for a 3-inch blade. Yeah, I mean, it's a little over that ounce per inch that people really, really like, but the liners are not milled, and it has a solid brass backspacer, which is definitely going to add some weight. But it does put it nicely into the palm of your hand. It makes the blade feel light, which is good. I don't think that 3.7 ounces is particularly heavy, but you might. Let's grab the magic calipers. Magic calipers. Zero those out. and see how much of this M390 they have given us to work with. So yeah, almost 3.5 millimeters. Oh, there it is. You can see it, 3.5 millimeters of M390. So it is a reasonably thick slice of the M390 running on bearings, which is very well done. Action is very good. It is very nice in the pocket. You know, for 200 bucks, 195 bucks, I think this is an excellent tool. It gets you into Riot build quality. It gets you into Giantmouse aesthetic. If you are interested in such a thing, I will post a link to their website. Perhaps there are still some available. I'm not sure, but if there are, there'll be a link in the description. Thank you so much for checking out the Giantmouse ACE Corta with me. It's a long name for a small knife. Anyway, thanks guys. We'll see you next time.